The battle or siege of Adrianople was fought during the First Balkan War, beginning in mid-November 1912 and ending on 26 March 1913 with the capture of Aedirne by the Bulgarian Second Army. The victorious end of the siege was considered an enormous military success because the defences of city were carefully developed by leading German siege experts and were dubbed undefeatable. The Bulgarian army, after 5 months of siege and 2 bold night attacks, took the Ottoman stronghold. The victors were under the overall command of General Nikola Ivanov, and the commander of the Bulgarian forces on the eastern sector of the fortress was General Georgy Vazev, brother of the famous Bulgarian writer Ivan Vazev and General Vladimir Vazev. One early use of an airplane for bombing took place during the siege. The Bulgarians dropped special hand grenades from one or more airplanes in an effort to cause panic among Turkish soldiers. Many young Bulgarian officers and professionals who took part in this decisive battle of the First Balkan War later played important roles in the politics, culture, commerce and industry of Bulgaria. The final battle consisted of 2 night attacks. Preparations for the battle included covering all metal parts of the uniforms and weapons with tissue, in order to eliminate any shine or noise. The several armies that took part in the siege were put under joint command, creating a prototype of a front. Some light artillery pieces towed by horses followed the advancing units, playing the role of infantry support guns. Attempts were made to perturb all Ottomans' radio communications to isolate and demoralize the besieged. Beginning on March 24, 1913, the external fortifications were captured in one night, and in the next night the fortress itself fell into Bulgarian hands. Early in the morning of March 26, 1913, the commander of the fortress, Mehmed Sukru Pasha, surrendered to the Serbian army and thus ended the siege of Adrianople. After the surrender, large parts of the city, especially the houses of Muslims and Jews, were subjected to looting for 3 days. However, it is disputed who actually carried out the looting. Some accounts accuse the Bulgarian army and other sources accuse the local Greek population. The Turkish prisoners of war were badly treated and some of them killed. According to the Carnegie report, there were made 2 principal charges on the Bulgarians. 1. They behaved with great cruelty and brutality toward the Ottoman prisoners of war. 2. The Bulgarian authorities permitted the pillaging of the property of Aedirne's Turkish population for 3 days after the city's surrender. The Bulgarian achievements up to this point were fairly summarized by a British war correspondent. A nation with a population of less than 5 million and a military budget of less than £2 million per annum placed in the field within 14 days of mobilization an army of 400,000 men, and in the course of 4 weeks moved that army over 160 miles in hostile territory, captured one fortress and invested another fort and won 2 great battles against the available armed strength of a nation of 20 million inhabitants, and stopped only at the gates of the hostile capital. With the exception of the Japanese and Gurkhas, the Bulgarians alone of all troops go into battle with the fixed intention of killing at least one enemy. There were a large number of journalists who reported on the siege of Adrianople, whose accounts provide rich details about this event. Serbian units involved were the Second Army under command of General Stepanović and heavy artillery dispatched because the Bulgarians lacked heavy artillery. The loss of Aedirne delivered the final decisive blow on the Ottoman army and brought to a close the First Balkan War. Coming of the Serb forces. Serbian forces under the command of General Stepanović arrived on 6 November 1912. In the place Mustafa Pasha, General Stepanović immediately reported to the Supreme Commander General Nikola Ivanov. The Serbian Second Army was formed from the Timok Division without the 14th Regiment. The 2nd Danube Division reinforced with the 4th Reserve Regiment and the 2nd Drina Artillery Division. There was a total of 47,275 Serbian troops with 72 artillery guns, 4,142 horses and oxen and 3,046 cars. The arrival of the Serbian soldiers greatly improved the morale of the Bulgarian troops at Adrianople. Both Serbian divisions were immediately sent to the front. The Timok division, strengthened by a Bulgarian regiment, occupied the northwestern sector between the rivers of Maritsa and Tunza. Its sector was 15 kilometers long. The Danube division occupied a 5 kilometers long stretch of the western sector between the Maritsa and Ada rivers. A combined brigade was formed from the Timok Cavalry Regiment and the Bulgarian Guard Cavalry Regiment to scout the Maritsa Valley. Gallery. The 17th of March 1912, Austria Consulate visiting a Gram nuns bombed residence at Adrianople. Bulgarian soldiers invaded Selimiya Mosque. Bulgarian mages' residence after conquer of Adrianople. Adrianople view from Kirkali's Road. Left Turkish artillery. A Gram nuns at Red Cross Hospital in Karagük. Prisoner camp near Tunja during cholera epidemic. A Bulgarian soldier at the port of Selimiya Mosque. Cholera epidemic near Tunja River. Victims thrown into the Ada and drowned. Isle of Tunja, trees stripped of bark which the prisoners ate. A bomb fell near Sultan Selim Mosque. Literature. Skarko, Sava, Opasic, Peter. Vojvoda Stepanović Uratovima Serbij 1876–1918. Vojvoda Stepanović in the Wars of Serbia 1876–1918. Belgrade. BIGZ. ISBN 86-13-00453-9.